Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where we cover this week in pro wrestling. And boy, oh boy, do we got some to talk about. So grab yourself a snack, maybe a drink, and let's do this. First things first, we cover Monday Night Raw, which kicks us off with a Cody Rhodes promo. He talks about the upcoming draft and his huge task against Brock Lesnar next Saturday at Backlash. My predictions will be coming soon. He called his attack cowardly, and he calls it the most humiliating beatdown he's ever received. And then he then says, I actually have some history with Chicago. He then takes off his shirt, reveals the scar that was left after surgery to his back, because Hell in a Cell last year was, the torn pec injury he was wrestling with. So, he's definitely ready for Brock Lesnar, and he's ready for a fight. Out comes Finn Balor, which is a very interesting introduction. Finn then introduces him, invites him to join Judgment Day, in which Cody refuses. And then Cody pretty much says, look, Finn, I know why you're out here. You think I'm not cleared to compete. Well, just this early afternoon, I was cleared, and I'll see you later on tonight. And that's not even a main event tonight, which is weird. Either way, that match is going to rule. Next up, we got a 6-man tag team match playa, as we have the Bloodline, that being Jimmy and Jey Uso and Solo Sikoa, taking on the LWO. That's Santos Escobar, Cruz del Toro, and Joaquin Wilde. This match was actually a really good showcase for the LWO. They really tried to take it to the Bloodline, but the numbers game was way too much. And Solo hits a big old Samoan spike as Santos Escobar dives from the top rope. It was a sick old move. So your win for the Bloodline. Then we get a backstage promo with Jey Uso and Sami Zayn. Now Jey is on the phone with, of course, Roman, because he's not showing up. Pretty much says, look, Sami pretty much says, look, I'm not here to fight. I'm just here to talk to you. You don't have to be treated this way. Roman is obviously using you, and you could be your own man. Then Jey retorts pretty much, look, I'm here to do things for the Bloodline. I'm here for my family, and you won't understand that until you lose the tag titles Friday when Kevin Owens turns on you. Which, some interesting foreshadowing, but we'll see what happens there. We then get a promo from Trish Stratus, who is asked about Becky Lynch's status. Trish pretty much says, yeah, she's not here again. I scared her off. She's having a hard time with pressure at the top. And Trish took her out of her misery, which, honestly, this feud is going to be interesting. Hopefully they don't keep it as one-sided, because, SummerSlam is still a ways away, and I'm thinking that's where that match is going to take place. So, going to be interesting to see where that goes. Next up, we got a very impromptu tag team match play as the Street Profits take on Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. Now, when I say impromptu, I mean Montez Ford is wearing sweatpants. Like, He's not wearing ring gear. He has sweatpants on. This was a last-minute addition. And, they weren't really that ready for it. It was a short and yet really entertaining match, in which the Street Profits won with a phenomenal frog splash by Ford. Although they keep bringing up the draft and how tag teams could be broken up in this, in which, maybe it's time for the Street Profits to go their separate ways. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the Street Profits. They are an entertaining tag team. They kind of won all the titles already, and they're kind of directionless as a team. So maybe as a solo act, they could be a bit more interesting. We then get the big Triple H announcement, in which he pretty much says, I've been at the highest level of WWE in my time, and now with Roman Reigns holding these two titles hostage, we're going to introduce a new title. Now, wherever Roman goes, he's going to keep the undisputed WWE Championship, in which, on whatever brand he's going to be on, the other brand gets a new title. And he unveils the new WWE World Heavyweight title, which, honestly, it is a beautiful looking belt. Yeah, the big corporate logo in the middle is a bit distracting, but it is a throwback to the old World Heavyweight title that WWE used in 2003 with the original brand split and the old WCW World title. Now, let me give you a little bit of a downside. This ultimately feels like a silver medal. Like, you can beat Roman, here's this title. Like, this is what this feels like, and I have the worst feeling that Cody Rhodes is going to be the first champion. And, that's not how his story should end. He should be the one beating Roman whenever it is, whether it's SummerSlam, at the MSG show, in August, whenever it be. But this is a conference second place title. And we will crown a new new champion at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia, which, it gives me a reason to watch this show at least. So, we'll see what happens there. We then get a Damian Priest interview with Judgment Day around. Priest pretty much says, I'm excited for Bad Bunny to come around, but hopefully he doesn't stick his nose where it doesn't belong. Otherwise, I'll do to him again what I did to him last week. Chokeslamming through a table. And then we get a Bloodline backstage in the locker room with Jay kind of, biting his nails, being nervous. Jimmy turns to him and says, what's going on? What's on your mind? And at first, Jay pretty much says, nothing. It's unimportant. Then Jimmy says, who you been talking to? Jay says, I've been talking to Sammy. He says, we shouldn't be in the Bloodline no more, and that if we lose, Roman's gonna punish us bad. Then Jimmy pretty much says, you gotta get this man out of your head. This isn't gonna happen. We're gonna get our titles back. We're gonna be in the good graces of Roman. And then we're gonna do what we always do. Then we see Jimmy leave. Next up is a very kind of messy match, but it also kind of worked. It's a 6-woman tag team match playa, as we have Damage Control as a whole taking on Bianca Belair, Raquel Rodriguez, and Liv Morgan. Oh, I did miss that. So basically, earlier in the night, Io Sky and Damage Control stepped up to Bianca, who was talking about her challenge at Backlash. Io Sky Io Sky wanted a piece of her tonight. Then Bayley intervened, pretty much saying, "Oh, yeah, we all want a piece." And Io was like, "What? No, I just want a piece of her. What are you doing?" So then Bayley pretty much says, "Oh, get yourself some tag team partners and we'll go." And yeah, this is the tag match. It was fun for what it was. Raquel and Liv definitely need a little work, but ultimately this was a fun bout. And after a KOD, Bianca Belair and the Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez get the win. And then we see Io Sky and Dakota Kai on the outside, pretty much with Io going, "Oh, this should have been my moment. This should have been just me. What are you doing?" So it looks like we're going to see the breakup of Damage Control pretty soon. But we'll see. We then get another by-the-books Austin Theory promo, pretty much saying, "Oh, I got 2 challengers now, but I'm still going to beat them. I'm the greatest U.S. champion of all time." Then he pretty much says, "This new title should be around my waist automatically, considering I've beaten the best already." And then Bobby Lashley comes out. And he pretty much says, "Look, you've been ducking me for a while now. I've wanted a rematch with you for so long. And you've just been running your mouth, but you don't step up for the fight." Theory then brings up Lashley's lack of match at WrestleMania. The two start brawling. Looks like Lashley's getting an advantage. Out comes Bronson Reed from out of nowhere with a big splash. Theory and Reed then double team Bobby Lashley for a little bit. And then after an 8-down and a tsunami, it looks like Reed and Theory are on the same page. And then Reed just bulldozes Theory. Like, that was rough looking. And then Bronson Reed holds up the U.S. title. Yeah, this definitely feels like it's probably going to be a win for Bobby Lashley at Backlash. So, we'll see what happens there. Next match, a interestingly quick one-on-one bout between Chad Gable and Mustafa Ali. Backstage, we saw Gable, Otis, a couple other people talking about the draft. Then Ali pretty much comes out and says, "Look, you guys are thinking about this draft all wrong. You need to think about it as more positive. We're all getting fresh starts, and maybe Gable without Otis won't suck." So that leads to this match, which was very, very good, although very quick. And then after a roll-up, Mustafa Ali gets the win, which I'm kind of scratching my head about that. Like, I'm glad Ali got a win. He got it in Chicago, in his hometown. I don't know. I don't get it. We then see Sami Zayn walking backstage. He runs into Jimmy Uso, who pretty much says, "Yeah, Friday, we're going to take those titles back." Sami retorts, "No, you're not. And me and Gail are going to remain the tag champions, and no one knows what's going to happen to you when Roman gets their hands on you." And Jimmy then reiterates, "Oh, KO's going to turn on you. It's inevitable. We'll see Friday." This next match was an absolute banger. We had Finn Balor versus Cody Rhodes, which was set up earlier in the night. A lot of good back and forth. A lot of fun. A lot of counters from the Crossroads, which that was interesting. Coup de grace miss. Cross pedigree into a Crossroads for a Cody Rhodes victory. Fun little match. Definitely what it needed to be. Although I wish Finn was a bit higher up on the pecking order. We then get a Seth Rollins promo. Comes out, ask about the crowd, how they're feeling about their match with Omos at Backlash. Everyone boos. But then the world title catches his eye. Pretty much says, yeah, I've got bigger fish to fry. Goes over for the world title. Doesn't really touch it. And he pretty much says, yeah, we want a title we can all fight for. And this is going to be that title. So, hopefully Seth Rollins is our first champ. We'll see about that. Out comes Omos and MVP. MVP pretty much says, forgive our interruption. We actually respect the heck out of you. But you are overlooking Omos. Then MVP goes over Omos's big matches. And then Seth pretty much says, yeah, you undersold this guy. This is the biggest dude I will ever face. But at Backlash, I'm going to make Omos famous, which, you know, that's going to be an interesting match. I'm glad we get a little backstory to this now. And it should be at least an interesting match. Like, I'm still kind of not looking forward to it, but, you know, I've been wrong before. Next up, we got a Riddle Owens backstage. They're talking strategy for Backlash. And then we get Sami Zayn walking in. Kevin Owens pretty much asks, oh, where you been? Where you been? We've been looking for you all night. Sami pretty much says, yeah, I ran into the Usos. And I'm trying to get them to see the light. KO pretty much says, yeah, these guys are lost causes. They've been drinking the Kool-Aid for a while. And someone like you really can't change their mind. Sami pretty much says, oh, but what's Roman going to do to them? What's Roman going to do if they lose? Kevin Owens says, who cares? It's not your issue. Let him do whatever he's got to do, and they'll deserve it for what they've been doing to us. Then Kevin Owens leaves, which leaves Riddle and Sami Zayn in there. Sami Zayn has a bit of a grim look on his face. Riddle asks, yo, bro, what's going on? Sami then says, I got a bad feeling Kevin Owens is going to turn on me if we lose the title on Friday. Then Riddle says, no, bro, I know exactly how you feel. Everyone was saying Orton was going to jump me after we lost the titles. He didn't, because we're bros. And I can see that same thing in you and Kevin Owens. Which, honestly, that was a nice moment for Riddle. I'm glad he's sharing this experience, and WWE are referencing their history. Which is nice. And honestly, get well soon, Randy Orton. I know I give Orton a lot of flack, but I do miss him. He was a great worker. Then we see footage of Bad Bunny arriving into the arena, which leads into our main event, Rey Mysterio taking on Damian Priest. And boy oh boy did these two really go at it. You got the power aspect from Damian Priest, although he does do a lot of athletic stuff against just the straight out wrestling and the speed of Rey Mysterio. This match ends in a DQ loss after Damian Priest throws a chair at Rey Mysterio's head, which that really looks like it hurt. He then hits the South of Heaven. He's getting the announce table ready to put Rey through it. Out comes Bad Bunny with a kendo stick and just starts whooping Damian Priest's butt. And then Priest gets away. Bad Bunny gets on the mic and says, "Hey, Priest, I'm no longer just hosting Backlash. It's going to be you versus me in a street fight at Backlash." In which, honestly, yes, please. These two do have a bit of history as they teamed together WrestleMania 37, 38, somewhere in there, against The Miz and Tommaso Ciampa. Yeah, remember those two were a team. Now that Priest is in Judgment Day, I guess Bad Bunny doesn't agree with his tactics. So, gonna be an interesting match for sure. Definitely a lot of hijinks are gonna be involved with Judgment Day and the NWO. So, this could be fun. Alright, that is Monday Night Raw. We now go to NWA Power. As we get our first qualifying match for the Crockett Cup, as the Savages, which that's Jack Stane and I forget the other guy's name, taking on Daisy Kill and Talos. Before the bell rings, the four of these guys brawl. After a while, the bell rings. Honestly, a good quick horse fight in which Samoan Drop popped the trunk, and the winners moving on to the Crockett Cup, the Savages. And honestly, it was, I wouldn't say it was a nothing match, but it was fun for what it was. We definitely get a better match a little bit later on. Just wait. Next up, we got the first defense of the NWA Women's TV Championship, as LIMV takes on Kenzie Page. That's right, Pretty and Power are facing each other. And honestly, for a 6:05 time limit match, this was pretty good. A lot of good camaraderie, a lot of good back and forth moves. But end of the day, we had a big old springboard cutter from Kenzie Page, who retains her title. And post-match, they celebrate with one another, so it doesn't look like Pretty Empowered are going anywhere. We then get an Odinson interview, in which he says his goals are clear. He's ready to beat not only Thrillbilly Silas Mason, who he's facing later on tonight, but also take EC3's national heavyweight title, in which the match with Thrillbilly Silas is a number one contenders match for that title, and enter Valhalla, which, that definitely was a fun bout. We'll see where it goes. And then this next tag team match player is another qualifier for the Crockett Cup. And boy oh boy, it is another hoss fight, as it's Mike Knox and Trevor Murdoch taking on the Fixers. And yeah, honestly, this was I think match of the evening for Power. A lot of good back and forth, a lot of good big guy moves, but also some really good athletic moves, including a massive drop kick from Mike Knox. But end of the day, your winner, after a crossbody, a big boot, and a high-low from Knox and Murdoch, which that always impresses me. So moving on into the Crockett Cup, Mike Knox and Trevor Murdoch. Definitely an interesting combination, and I think one of the better matches of the evening. We then get an interview with Camille and Tom Latimer. Camille is showing respect for her next challenger, Natalia Markova, which that should be a fun matchup. Then she calls Natalia sneaky, and she always has something up her sleeve. Then she's asked about Tom Latimer's reign, Reign has been great already, has defended the title 3 times so far in succession, and only a couple more to go. For the TV title for NWA, you have to have 7 successful title defenses to move up where you can cash in and challenge for the World Heavyweight title, in which I like stuff like that. It's going to be really good. Then we get an Aaron Stevens interview. He feels humiliated by his tag team, Blunt Force Trauma, in that they have to qualify to get into the Crockett Cup, but Stevens feels like he's been robbed, and his team should get an automatic qualifier, and it is a conspiracy. So we get that. And that Blunt Force Trauma are the uncrowned tag team champions. Next up, we got our main event of NWA Power as Thrillbilly Silas Mason pushed his national title match on the line against Odinson. And oh boy, did this match really... It was a really good match. A lot of back and forth. Then after Polo Del Mar gets the spray can, sprays it in the face of Odinson. And after a big old thrill ride, which I think is my new favorite finisher, your winner, Thrillbilly Silas Mason. And honestly, his match with DC3, that's going to be a fun one, I think. Hopefully it'll be at Crockett Cup, but we'll see. So that is our main event for Power. Next up. This is going to be a little rough to get through, but I'm going to try my best. We got MLW Underground, and it is the 40-man Battle Riot. Now, what this is, it's pretty much the Royal Rumble, except instead of 30 guys, it's 40. Now, I'm not going to cover absolutely everything that went on, but I will stick to some good points. So, starting off number 1, we have Alex Kane, former openweight champion, and Willie Mack making his MLW return. They start out really good, really quick. A lot of good back and forth. Participant number 3, Jesus Rodriguez, aka Ricardo Rodriguez. If you remember him, he was the personal ring announcer for Alberto Del Rio. I am glad he's back in wrestling, and he wrestles in a tux. So that's kind of funny. Next man in, Lince Dorado, the current MLW middleweight champion. He does his good lucha stuff. Next man in, Calvin Tankman, who runs the shop a little bit. Next man, Lance Anoa'i, one half of the tag team champions and 1/3 of the Samoan SWAT team. And next man in is the biggest man in the match, Microman. That's right, Microman makes his Battle Riot return. Number 8, we have Azteca Henchman 33. He has kind of been a little directionless since, I forget the dude's name. Lucha Underground's former GM got abducted, so he's kind of been on his own. Next man in, we got Juicy Finau, the other half of the tag team champions, and he immediately eliminates Azteca 33. And then Juicy just tosses in weapons he brings in with a cart. Then his tag team partner, Lance Anoa'i, gets eliminated. Next man in, the return of Beastman. He has been in and out of MOW for a little bit now. This is his return. And he immediately goes after the other big guys in the match. Next man in is Sam Adonis, who has been teaming with Taya Valkyrie and John Hennigan. Next man in is FBI member Little Guido, making his ECW arena return. Beastman then gets eliminated by everyone with the exclamation point on top from a dropkick from Microman. Next man in, we got Old Manser, who immediately eliminates Jesus Rodriguez. Wona and Adonis then eliminate one another. Number 16, next man in. I think it was just meant to be Akira, but the entire calling stable comes out, pretty much runs house, eliminates absolutely everyone. We do get some entrances in commercial break, including Ken Broadway, TJ Crawford, Jimmy Lloyd, Mr. Thomas. They all get eliminated. Next man in is Azteca number 9, who is eliminated immediately. So the calling are holding the ring. Next guy in is Jacob Fatu, who eliminates Dr. Colin Wallace, Delirious, Juicy Finau, and Akira get eliminate each other, as do Jacob Fatu and Ricky Shane Page. So that just leaves Alex Kane in the ring on his own, starting from number 1. Next man in is Kimchi. He is pretty much almost immediately eliminated. Next man in, Midas Black, again eliminated pretty quickly. Next person in, Taya Valkyrie, our first kind of woman in the Battle Riot. They go at it for a little bit, but then Taya is eliminated with a submission move. Next in, Jay Lyon, the other half of the team with Midas Black. He comes in, tries to get some stuff in, gets immediately eliminated. Next up, the other half of the FBI, Ray Jazz, who is the cousin of Little Guido, so that's pretty neat. Keep it in the family. He gets caught doing a crossbody and is put right into a Dragon Sleeper for the elimination. Next man in, Leo Rush, who gets in, and it's a big old cutter. Looks like Alex Kane is over the top, but his feet don't hit the floor. Next in, Hot Stuff Tracy Williams, making his MOW debut. He's been hanging around Ring of Honor lately, so that's pretty fun. They go at one another for a little bit. Next man in, O'Shea Edwards, who is revealed to be the newest recruit for the Bumaye Fight Club. So he immediately starts helping Alex Kane out. Next man in, another big old surprise, Duke the Dumpster Drozy, in which, crazy to see that throwback in 2023. Brings in a trash can, hits a couple guys with it. Then we get Alex Kane get an ankle lock in, and it's revealed he's got a prosthetic leg, which, that's funny. I'm glad Alex Kane didn't rip it off. I'm kind of sick of that spot, so I'm glad we did a little bit respectfully, and then Duke Drozy is dumped out of the ring. He is eliminated. Next man in is supposed to be, looks like it's Ricky Shane Page, But before he could enter, Jacob Fatu jumps him and they brawl to the back. Next entrances are one called Manders and John Hennigan. They go at each other for a little bit. Ring fills up a little bit more. Next man in, Davey Boy Smith Jr., who immediately makes a beeline for Alex Kane. Manders and Tracy Williams are then eliminated. Next man in, Shio Ari, who is the current WXW World Champion in Germany. Glad to see a little bit more talent crossover. And in your number 40 spot, and I can't believe this, Gene Snitsky, number 40, and he goes right after O'Shea Edwards. But he is then eliminated by Kane and Edwards. Leo Rush and O'Shea Edwards eliminate each other. For a while, Hennigan avoids elimination, but Alex Kane then eventually gets him over the top and to the floor after a cannonball. RE is then eliminated not long afterwards. We then get one-on-one after having 2 wins apiece, Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Alex Kane, who started from numero uno, number 1. And ultimately, after a rear naked choke, your winner of Battle Riot and going on to get the shot at the World Heavyweight title whenever he wants, Alex Kane. Ooh, that was a long one. Glad we got through it. And now we finally get to AEW Dynamite, in which there was a lot of good stuff in this one. Kicking off, we have the international title on the line as Orange Cassidy takes on Bandito. Bandito has been MIA from AEW for a little bit. He's been doing stuff in AAA. But now he's back in the States, ready to go. And honestly, this kickoff match was exactly what AEW needed. Little fast, these two worked really, really well together. And at one point, you have Bandito doing his finger gun thing. And then Orange Cassidy sticks his fingers into his pockets, which, honestly, that got me. That got me really good. And then after a orange punch from the top rope, beach break, your winner, still international champion, Orange Cassidy. Now, post-match, we have Cassidy go into his book bag, which he keeps the title in, which I think that's pretty funny. Takes out an extra pair of shades and puts them on Bandito. So it looks like we got some camaraderie and a bit of a new addition to Best Friends, maybe? We'll see what happens there. We then get a short but sweet Adam Cole interview saying that, Jericho, I'm going to the ring. I'm going to call you out for what you did to that Britt Baker. Join me if you got any sort of, manhood. And if you don't come out, I'll come to the back and find you. Then we got Orange Cassidy and Bandito rolling up, pretty much saying, oh, what was all that about? Then Renee pretty much says, oh, he's going to call out Jericho, and we'll see what happens later. And Cassidy goes, oh, walks off. Then it goes to Bandito. Oh, he walks off. So, we'll see where that goes a little later. Trust me. Next up, in a match that had zero right to be as good as it should have, as it was, you got Dax Harwood versus Jeff Jarrett. And these two really, really have some good camaraderie. A lot of good stuff to go on. The seconds to everyone was banned from ringside, but that didn't stop Sanjay Dutt from coming to ringside, tripping Dax up into a stroke for the win for Jeff Jarrett. We then see Sanjay Dutt take the AEW tag title and give it to Jeff Jarrett, who pretty much treats it like he won the title, which he didn't. We then get a Tony Khan announcement, which, I'm glad it wasn't advertised as a big announcement, so this is a good one. We are getting the Owen Hart Foundation Cup return, and we have the opening ceremony at Double or Nothing. The match is starting up in Canada a little bit after that, and then the finals are July 15th. Now that is significant because it's a Saturday, and with the potentially announced Saturday show, that could be pretty interesting. We then get a Jungle Boy Darby Allin interview, pretty much talking about what happened to Jungle Boy last week, how he was screwed out of his title shot by MJF and Guevara. Darby pretty much says, yeah, we don't have to like each other, but please at least have my back, because these two are going to pull something else. And, it is what it is. We then get Wardlow squashing a jobber in 20 seconds. And then after a Powerbomb Symphony, we get the pinfall win. We then get an Arn Anderson promo, which is very interesting. Arn is now managing Wardlow, which is great. He wants to turn Wardlow into AEW's dynasty and take AEW into the future. And Wardlow has to agree he has to pretty much maim guys, which, we'll see what happens there. Out comes Christian Cage and Luchasaurus. They're walking to the ring. Christian Cage gets to the ring steps, but he doesn't go in. So then he takes a couple of steps back. He looks like he's going to the back. Luchasaurus stays on the spot. Looks like he's ready to fight. Christian Cage comes and gets him. So, that match should be interesting. We then get a Sammy Guevara MJF interview. MJF pretty much says to Sammy, this is your big nut, our big night, our moment. And this is our way to avoid the Four Pillars 4-way. And there has been people saying, oh, we're ruining the sanctity of the sport. And Sammy and MJF at the same time pretty much says, so what? They then gift each other jackets and a scarf, and then they just hug, which, that's fine, I guess. Looks like we're definitely getting another screw job in our main event. Next up, we got the AEW debut of RJ City, who has a YouTube talk show on AEW's YouTube page. He is then taken out by Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta. Then Moxley pretty much says, after tonight, some people are going to have some scars. So, we'll see where that goes. Next up, this isn't the main event. We got Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin, and the winner gets MJF at Double or Nothing. Speaking of MJF, he joins the commentary team, and honestly, this match was very fast-paced to start out. A lot of good stuff going down. A lot of good wrestling. I think, have the better camaraderie over Sammy and Jungle Boy last week, although that wasn't bad. We have Sammy Guevara on a table, which he set up a bit earlier. Darby Allin looking for the coffin drop. Ty Mello comes down to the ring, distracts Darby long enough for Sammy to get up to the top rope and hit a Spanish fly into the ring. That was absolutely insane. Then Sammy sets Darby up on the table, and after a 630 splash through it, they get each other back into the ring. Pinfall, 1, 2, and then we have MJF leave the commentary table and go to ringside. After a coffin drop, MJF slides Darby Allin's skateboard into him. With the ref distracted, Sammy Guevara then bumps himself like Eddie Guerrero used to do with the chair, the fake out, taken out spot. And the ref DQs Darby Allin. So we get our main event for Double or Nothing, Sammy Guevara and MJF. But hold on a second, playa. Oh, no, before that, MJF and Sammy continue their attack on Darby Allin, and Jungle Boy makes the save. We have Jungle Boy and Darby face-to-face kind of have a little argument. MJF pretty much says, look, you two can argue all you want, you're going back to the mid-card, because here's your main event for Double or Nothing. Then we get Tony Schiavone on the mic, pretty much saying, I heard from Tony Khan that next week we are having a tag team match, playa. That's right, I'm quoting Teddy Long a little bit. Next week we have Jungle Boy and Darby Allin taking on Sammy Guevara and MJF. If Sammy and MJF win, they get to keep their one-on-one match. If Darby and Jungle Boy win, they get added to the match, and it becomes a fatal 4-way, which I thought it always should have been, but we'll see what happens there. We then get an Adam Cole promo. He just goes right out, does none of the Adam Cole baby, none of the boom. He calls Chris Jericho out to the ring. He's losing his patience. He's ready for a fight. It looks like he's going to go to the back. We then get Jericho on the video screen pretty much saying, I want nothing to do with you, Adam Cole. You're not worth my time. You let your wife, significant other, Britt, take the fall for you. And I want nothing to do with you. However, my boys will take care of you. So out comes the JAS. That's Hager, Daniel Garcia, and 2.0. They start a big old beatdown of Adam Cole. Out come Orange Cassidy and Bandito to make the save, although the numbers are still too great. And I can't believe this. Making his AEW debut, the missing part of the Undisputed Era. Roderick Strong makes his AEW debut and saves Adam Cole. And then they just embrace. What a moment. Here's what I'll say, this is so surprising. Roderick Strong was in WWE for a while now. And a lot of people thought he would either be getting a call-up or at least return to TV at some point. He's been on NXT for a long time. So this debut was generally a big surprise. So, welcome to the team, Roderick Strong. And now we just gotta wait for Kyle O'Reilly to get better so we can have an Undisputed Era return. And I am there for it. We then get a QTV segment where QT Marshall pretty much says, our group has been having a rough week. Everyone has pretty much gotten beaten up by Wardlow, including Will Hobbs getting his title stolen from Wardlow. In comes Willie Hobbs, and he has QT by the throat. He says, maybe I should get the Book of Hobbs out. I would have still had my title. QT then says, alright, calm down, dude. Let me down. With me, you were a champion. You stick with me, you'll be a champion again. So then he pretty much turns to his crew, and he says, yeah, let's turn to Plan B. Not sure what Plan B is going to be. Plan B. Plan Goldberg! Oh no! I didn't even think of that. Honestly, that could be a very interesting way to get Goldberg into AEW. I didn't even think of that. Wow. Next up, we got the TBS title on the line as Jade Cargill takes on Taya Valkyrie. Now, apparently there was a stipulation added to the match that Taya could not use her finishing move, the Road to Valhalla, to finish this match. Otherwise, she will be DQ'd. I don't remember when that stipulation was added, but, whatever. It played into the match. She definitely went for it a couple of times, but then let go of Jade. This was easily Jade's best match she's had so far. A lot of good back and forth. Taya then tries again for the Road to Valhalla, and then after a roll-up, your winner, still champion, Jade Cargill. Post-match, Taya Valkyrie takes out Jade and the baddies. She came close to hitting the Road to Valhalla on a ref, but she is stopped by other refs and security. So, we'll see how that goes. We then get a Dr. Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter promo. They are both pretty much beat up. They call out the Outcast for taking out Hayter to get to Britt. And then they pretty much say the only way to stop us is to put us in the morgue. So that's a little bit dark, but I get the point. And finally, our tag team main event player. But before that, Bryan Danielson comes out on commentary as we get Kenny Omega and Konosuke Takeshita taking on the Butcher and the Blade. And honestly, this match was really, really good. A lot of good storytelling beats. A lot of interference from the outside. Like, at one point, Takeshita's on the outside. Kip Sabian, who's ringside but not in the match, hits a moonsault from the top. So shouldn't that be a DQ? Like, am I missing something there? I don't know. Anyway, like I said, another really good back and forth, including a lot of great spots between the Butcher and Konosuke Takeshita. And then after a V-trigger, your winners, Kenny Omega and Konosuke Takeshita. Then Danielson takes the mic from the announce table, pretty much says, I see one wrestler and one amateur. Takeshita, I see so much potential in you, and yet here you are with this amateur, Kenny Omega, being trained by the Elite. Instead, you could be with the Blackpool Combat Club and be a world beater. Then the Blackpool Combat Club attack Kenny Omega specifically, so that's definitely interesting. They continue their attack. Out come the Young Bucks to make the save. They super kick everybody. And then we see Takeshita on the outside. Danielson's in Takeshita's ears being like, oh, go in there, stop them. He then gets between the Bucks and Moxley, pretty much saying, no, we gotta stop this. Moxley then hits a paradigm shift on Omega, and it looks like Takeshita is surrounded by the Blackpool Combat Club. With Danielson saying, Takeshita, come, join us. You belong here. Takeshita then says, like, no, I'm not joining you. Then Danielson says, yeah, you made the wrong choice. They attack him, including Danielson with the screwdriver to the head, in which it reveals blood pooling, blood dripping down Takeshita's head, in which technically Takeshita has now bled with the Blackpool Combat Club, so that might mean he's technically in. I don't know. We'll see about that. Yeah, definitely a good week of pro wrestling so far. We got Impact left, Ring of Honor. Now, here's the thing. Friday, I am 100% going out. So I will not be covering SmackDown as a whole. However, I will try to cover the draft because it is the WWE Draft Day. It should be a fun one. And see where people end up. So, yeah, that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of this week, this crazy week in pro wrestling so far. And, yeah, stay tuned for the rest of the week, which is coming Saturday. Until then, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.